A very good evening. You're watching News Tonight. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top stories of the day. Prime Minister launches 13 urban infrastructure projects costing over 2,100 crore rupees in Rajasthan, interacts with beneficiaries of central and state flagship schemes, says with many of its leaders out on bail. Opposition Congress has become a bail gadi. Law Commission starts consultations on simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha and state assemblies. National and regional parties take part in discussions that will continue tomorrow. Stone throwers attack army patrol on search operation to locate terrorists in Kulgam. 3 people allegedly killed in firing, 10 injured in clashes. Mobile internet service suspended in Kulgam and Anantnag. Good news for students. Entrance exams for engineering and medical courses to be held twice every year. Newly constituted National Testing Agency to conduct JEE mains in January and April. NEET in February and May. National eligibility test to be held in December. And monsoon fury brings Mumbai to a standstill. Red alert warning for Vidarbha and Konkan. Goa records highest rainfall since 1994. Flights and trains disrupted in Maharashtra and Goa. As Weather Department predicts, there will be no let-up in the downpour for the next 5 days. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday inaugurated several infrastructure projects worth 2,100 crore rupees in Rajasthan. Addressing a rally in Jaipur, the Prime Minister said BJP believes only in development. The Prime Minister also interacted with beneficiaries of 7 central government and 5 state government flagship schemes.
Laying the foundation stone for 13 urban infrastructure projects worth over 2,100 crore rupees and interaction with the beneficiaries of 7 central government and 5 state governments flagship schemes were the highlights of the Prime Minister's visit to Rajasthan on Saturday. Addressing a public meeting in Jaipur, he reiterated that development was the only focus of his government.
देश में जो लगभग 32 करोड़ गरीबों के बैंक खाते खुले हैं, उनमें से 2.5 करोड़ से अधिक जनधन खाते राजस्थान में खुले हैं। प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत और पहले की योजनाओं को पूरा करके राजस्थान के 6 लाख से अधिक गरीबों को घर देने का काम भी किया गया।
Targeting the Congress, the Prime Minister said the party is being referred to as bail gadi, pointing out that many of the party leaders are out on bail.
जो काम हो रहे हैं वो पहले भी हो सकते थे, लेकिन पहले की जो सरकारें रही तो उन्होंने किस नियत से काम किया उससे आप भली भांति परिचित हैं। इसी नियत का परिणाम है कांग्रेस को आजकल कुछ लोग बैलगाड़ी बोलने लगे हैं। बैलगाड़ी नहीं, बैलगाड़ी।
जनधन, मोबाइल और आधार, इनके माध्यम से सुनिश्चित किया कि पूरा का पूरा पैसा, जनता का पूरा पैसा बिना लीकेज के उस लाभार्थी के अकाउंट में पूरी तरह से पहुंचा। कांग्रेस ने तो गरीबों को एक जरिया बनाया था सत्ता पाने का, सुख हथियाने का।
Modi also praised Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje for her work. Around 2.5 lakh beneficiaries took part in the program in Jaipur.
The Prime Minister, while addressing the rally in Jaipur, made it clear that the centre and the state governments both are making all-out efforts for the welfare of the people of the country and Rajasthan. He also set tone for the upcoming assembly elections which are scheduled to take place later this year. He also targeted the Congress party for not fulfilling the promises during the past governments. In Jaipur, with cameraman Anirman Sadhu, Ravin Singh Shoran, reporting for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Joint Entrance Examination Mains or JEE and National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test or NEET examinations will now take place twice a year from 2019. The JEE Main, the screening test for Indian Institutes of Technology, will be conducted in January and April, while the NEET exam to select students for medical and dental colleges will be held in February and May. Students can appear both the times and the best of the two scores would be taken in account for admission. The tests would be computer-based and the exams would be held over a span of 4 to 5 days, with students having an option of choosing the dates. The syllabus, question formats, language and fees for the exams would not be changed.
From this year, the NEET examination, the JEE mains examination, the UGC NET examination, CMAT examination and GPAT examinations. All these examinations will be computer based. The syllabus won't change. The nature of questions won't change. The language alternatives won't change. The exam fee will not change. But the method of examination from handwriting and or mix is now going to computer based.
The Commission organized a 2-day consultation with major political parties in Delhi on the possibility of holding simultaneous Lok Sabha and Assembly polls. On day one, Tamil Nadu in principle agreed to the proposal of holding simultaneous polls, but it wants polls to be considered after 2021, when the present state assembly's term would expire. While Puducherry Chief Minister V. Narayanasamy questioned the feasibility of holding simultaneous elections. The Commission is holding one-to-one meetings with each of the 7 national and 59 regional parties and has allotted separate time schedule. At least 3 civilians were killed in South Kashmir's Kulgam district today in firing by security forces. At least 5 people were also injured in clashes which broke out between security forces and protesters. In a separate incident, a CRPF Jawan was injured in a grenade attack in Srinagar's Haidarpura area. Both the incidents come a day ahead of the 2nd death anniversary of Hizbul terrorist Burhan Wani. Curfew is also imposed in parts of the valley as a precautionary measure to maintain peace and order ahead of Wani's death anniversary. Iran's remaining partners in the 2015 nuclear deal have vowed to keep the energy exporter plugged into the global economy, despite the US withdrawal and sanctions threat. Foreign ministers of Britain, France and Germany, along with Russia and China, met their Iranian counterpart in Vienna to offer economic benefits and assurances that would lessen the blow of sweeping US sanctions announced by Donald Trump. They agreed on an 11-point list of joint goals and expressed their commitment to the accord, as well as to building up trade and investment links with Iran. This includes the continuation of Iran's export of oil and gas and other energy products. Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif praised the nuclear deal partners for their will to resist US pressure. President Donald Trump pulled the United States out of the multinational deal in May, under which sanctions on Iran were lifted in return for curbs on its nuclear program, verified by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Since then, Washington has told countries that they must stop buying the OPEC producers' oil from the 4th of November or face financial consequences. And former Ambassador D.P. Srivastava is joining us live on News Tonight to share his perspective. A very good evening, sir, and thank you for joining us on News Tonight. First of all, by pledging their support to Iran, do you think the remaining signatories have been able to save the 2015 nuclear deal?
You know, they have pledged support to the nuclear deal, but to save it, they have to take effective action to block US sanctions. And that is something which depends most of all on the oil situation. Whether you want to enforce the sanctions or you want to block it, it turns on the issue of Iranian oil exports. Now, there are 3 dimensions to it. From US perspective, if they want to enforce the sanction, they have to find enough oil to compensate for withdrawal of 2.7 million barrels
Yes.
of Iranian oil exports. Currently, it is simply not possible. The OPEC summit, which ended on 22nd June, has added to the existing production ceiling only 600,000 barrels. That is in no way going to compensate for complete withdrawal of Iranian oil exports. From Iran's perspective, not only they should be able to export oil, but also get the payments. And that requires that the euro channel or other third country currency should be available to them. And there the remaining, the commitment of remaining parties to the deal is very important.
Yes.
Now, the third aspect is the international community. And what is important for them is that this should not lead to very steep increase in oil prices, which can tip the world economy into a recession and create problems at national level. The oil prices have already gone up, from roughly $60 before 9th May announcement of President Trump to $80. This is an unprecedented increase. And once the sanctions are actually implemented, the curve is likely to go up further.
Yes. What do you think about these allies? You just heard the Iranian foreign minister say, in fact, he was applauding these remaining signatories for being able to resist US pressure. Now, given that these countries are NATO allies, how long do you think will Britain, France and Germany be able to resist this pressure from the United States?
There are two aspects to it. One is the government declaration, and the second is what the companies actually do. And in many cases, those companies have already announced that they are withdrawing from the Iranian market. Now, this is not simply companies in the oil sector, but, automobile or aircraft sector and so on, because they have stakes also in the US market. But the commitment of their governments to the nuclear deal, I think, is a welcome step.
Let's also discuss the domestic situation, sir. What do you think is the way forward for India, since both Iran and the United States are equally important for us?
Since the beginning of June, the steep increase in the oil prices have added $8 to India's oil basket. Now, this is going to have a major impact on both on our current account balance as well as the fiscal deficit.
Certainly.
And in case the issue is not resolved, it's going to have, I think, even worse impact.
All right, sir. Many thanks for joining us on News Tonight and sharing your perspective on that important subject. With that, we'll slip into a very short break. News and updates will continue on the other side.
The Maternity Benefit Amendment Act that came into effect last April increased the paid maternity leave from 12 weeks to 26 weeks.
The question which the startups and the SME segment is raising is that it's a question of sustainability and scalability for us. If we ourselves don't survive, then how are we going to have jobs being created?
The burden which this law is putting on employer, that has to be shared by government also. Because the point is that people will stop hiring us.
We as employers now should be talking about solutions. Having understood that these facts are there as true as law of gravity, companies have built apps now which take a woman through the entire pregnancy period, post-pregnancy, keep them informed what's happening in their department to take them back.
We are actually gradually moving towards that society where it will be a fund-based, as you say, the social security model.
Okay.
Where not just the 10 and above, but every worker will be covered by one or the other mechanism of contributing.
Okay.
Watch the Pulse only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Heavy rains lashed across parts of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Goa and Assam on Saturday. Normal life has been paralyzed in large parts of Maharashtra and the Konkan region due to heavy rain since last night. Reports of waterlogging have been received from across the city as heavy showers along with gusty winds lashed Mumbai and suburban areas. Local train services were also hit on some of the lines. Flood-like situation prevailed in Thane district's Bhiwandi following heavy rains. In Palghar too, severe waterlogging was reported from several areas. The Met Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rainfall in Konkan, Goa and Mumbai in the next 5 days. Meanwhile, Goa also continued to receive heavy rains for the 4th consecutive day. Continuous downpour led to flooding and traffic congestion in most parts of the city. Heavy rainfall in Assam has also led to a flood-like situation in the state. Officials said water levels of Brahmaputra River in Guwahati has been increasing. All 1,400 Kailash Mansarovar pilgrims were safely rescued from Nepal's mountainous Simikot region on Saturday. Those rescued have been moved to Nepalganj and Surkhet, the two towns closest to the Indian border that have better healthcare and infrastructure facilities. The pilgrims were stranded due to bad weather. And the Amarnath Yatra also resumed from Jammu after it was suspended for 2 days due to inclement weather in Kashmir. A batch of over 2,200 pilgrims left for the Pahalgam base camp for the 3,880-meter high Holy Cave Shrine. However, the pilgrims registered for the Baltal route were not allowed to leave the Bhagwati Nagar base camp for the valley as the authorities had suspended the Yatra from the shorter 12-kilometer track due to slippery conditions and incidents of shooting of stones. The pilgrimage from the traditional 36-kilometer Pahalgam route resumed yesterday. The Yatra was suspended from the Jammu base camp on Thursday to avoid overcrowding in the camps in the valley after heavy rains coupled with landslides and shooting of stones forced the suspension of the Yatra from the twin tracks a day earlier. On to some other news. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor has been granted regular bail by Delhi's Patiala House Court in the Sunanda Pushkar death case. Tharoor, who was summoned as an accused in the case, appeared before the court and informed it that he had already been granted anticipatory bail by a sessions court on the 5th of July. The court then converted his interim relief to regular bail after directing him to furnish a bail bond of 1 lakh rupees and one surety of like amount as directed by the sessions court. The court has now posted the matter for scrutiny on the 26th of July. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for encouraging people to voluntarily pledge eye donation. Addressing a gathering of doctors and eye specialists during the inaugural of the 32nd Intraocular Implant and Refractive Surgery Convention in Chennai today, he said eye care facilities must reach people living in the rural areas at affordable prices. He added private sector and NGOs must augment government's efforts to provide comprehensive eye care services. He also said public sector eye care hospitals must be equipped with the latest technologies for quality treatment. He also spoke about the excessive exposure of children to video games, mobiles, computers and televisions that have an adverse impact on eye health.
If you start doing service and then if you start enjoying this profession, then you will be able to work more and give the best to the society rather than treating it as an employment opportunity. It's a mission. That missionary attitude has to be there. We all know that vast sections of the people inhabiting the margins of our society in the rural area are in the need of quality eye care, but they cannot afford the prohibitive cost of treatment being charged by the private eye care hospitals alone. We therefore need to make our public sector eye care hospitals equipped with the latest technologies for quality treatment.
Swati Pandey, a 29-year-old entrepreneur from Uttarakhand, has won the Cartier Women's Initiative Award 2018. Her company oversees the production of an innovative, high-yielding variety of a natural sweetener. Here's her inspiring story.
Every day we hear and read about the ill effects of sugar. Swati, through her startup, Arboreal Agro Innovations, produces stevia, a sugar substitute that is extracted from the leaves of stevia. It has no calories and is 200 times sweeter than sugar. Though there have been other companies that have tapped into this all-natural sugar substitute, only a few have been as successful as her. It comes as no surprise that this 29-year-old entrepreneur bagged the Cartier Women's Initiative Awards 2018, adjudged by the French luxury brand Cartier, the American consulting firm McKinsey & Company, and one of the world's leading business schools, INSEAD.
Because we've been working on this project for the last 3 years, and it came at the right time. It gave us the exposure that we needed. And I think it was really serendipity that everything kind of came together. Of course, met a lot of other entrepreneurs as well during the journey, the one-week program that Cartier held in Singapore. So that was also a very enriching experience.
She sources stevia, commonly known as the meethi tulsi, from farmers in 4 districts of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. She has vowed to improve the livelihoods of farmers whose incomes are expected to double in 5 years following a switch from sugarcane to stevia farming.
They don't have the knowledge to do other crops. They have mainly been dependent on, your wheat, rice and sugarcane. So we are giving them an alternative cash crop. And not just the crop, I think the biggest, value add that we have here is that we are giving them an assured market. So they really don't have to worry about, selling the produce. Whatever they produce, we buy it at a fixed price. So we go to the farmer and we say that, we sign an agreement with them and say that whatever you grow, we will buy it at a fixed price.
Stevia uses significantly less water and land for delivering the same level of sweetness as sugar, and hence can provide healthier solutions for people affected by diabetes and obesity. Swati is confident that the use of stevia instead of sugar can have a positive impact on the society and economy in India as well as the ecosystem. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
While poverty is a blistering problem in sanitation drives, e-waste is the main concern of the country. The e-waste typically includes discarded computer monitors, motherboards, cathode ray tubes, printed circuit board, mobile phones and chargers, compact discs, headphones, white goods like LCD plasma televisions, air conditioners, refrigerators and so on. Our correspondent Astha gets us this report from Delhi's Seelampur.
In this digital era, we all are surrounded by electronic devices, whether it is a phone, tablet, computer, laptop or any other gadget. But have you ever wondered when they become obsolete and of no use, where is it all discarded?
A good portion of the 2.2 million tons of e-garbage or discarded electronic items that's generated across India comes to Delhi's Seelampur area. Supplies arrive at recycling units that operate from houses. The various items are then dismantled and individual parts sent to different places for further recycling. The work is hazardous and the workers take few or no precautions. They are exposed to harmful gases emitting in the processing. Their skin constantly touches dangerous chemicals.
All states जो है वहाँ से पूरे स्टेट से यहाँ पे स्क्रैप आता है और वहाँ स्क्रैप आने के बाद में वो यहाँ पे डीलर आते हैं वो यहाँ से परचेज करते हैं.
India is among the top 5 e-waste generating countries in the world. The other 4 are China, US, Japan and Germany. A study by ASSOCHAM NEC says they are spread across states like Karnataka that has 57 units processing 44,620 tons, Maharashtra with 32 units processing 47,810 tons. Uttar Pradesh's 22 units taking care of 86,130 tons. Haryana 16 units for 49,981 tons. In all, India recycles over 4,38,000 tons of e-waste every year, which means that still over 15 lakh tons of e-waste is left unprocessed, creating a huge environmental problem. There are several laws to regulate e-waste management. But experts say the major challenge is the lack of awareness about its dangers.
Enforcement in terms of the informal sector. It was being recycled in unscientific manner even 15 years back, and that continues to happen now. So I think the lack of proper regulation or enforcement and the stakeholders taking on that responsibility, I think those are the major constraints. The awareness level, if you look, it's dismal. Most people do not know what is e-waste, and even after 6 years of regulation, that remains unchanged.
E-waste can be very toxic if it's not treated properly. Items like cathode ray tube computers and television monitors contain a lot of lead that can cause cancer even for people who don't directly handle them. The problem is that only a few agencies recycle and dispose e-waste in a sustainable way. Their numbers have to be drastically increased to save our cities from an ecological disaster. Astha Kulshrest's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to some international updates now. At least 54 people have died in Canada in a week due to overwhelming heat, with temperatures rising to about 20 degrees higher than the normal temperatures expected this time of the year. Most of the victims linked to extreme weather conditions were reported from Montreal and Quebec. About 60% of those who died were older men living alone without any air conditioning. And at least 38 people were killed and 50 are reported to be missing in heavy rains and floods in southwest Japan. About 1.5 million people have been ordered to leave their homes after hundreds of houses were damaged in rain and floods since Thursday. Japan's meteorological agency has issued special weather warnings across 4 prefectures in Japan's main island of Honshu. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has ordered his ministers to make an all-out effort to rescue the victims, calling the situation extremely serious. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.